We are currently live. Welcome to This for Everyone, episode 6, with Gideon Ibemery Jr. Why don't you go introduce yourself? Tell people like what it is that you do and how old you are.
So, like you said, Gideon Ibemery Jr. I am 24. I'll be 25 next week, Friday. So on the 17th, if you forget to tell me happy birthday, whoever hears this, listening to this, even if it's in the future, hello in the future, you have to tell me happy birthday when you hear this. Um, I'm a. I've actually found a better way to describe myself in my current state, my current form. Currently, I think I'm just before final form. If we gotta go DBZ references, but anyways, I'm like a pretty solid full stack designer, so I can handle anything from like graphic design all the way to front end development, and more recently, I've started to understand back end development a bit better. And then on top of that, I'm a three-dimensional artist. So I work in porcelain, just really any ceramics, but I prefer matte long porcelain, which is really hard to find because he stopped making it. So I had to like find a recipe from the deep web, I think. But
The deep web.
yeah, there's like hidden ceramic recipes, like glaze recipes and all this type of stuff. Somebody's doing it, and I just found out about it. It's kind of crazy, but um,
That's
I,
so fucked up to me.
I mean, the thing about it is, right, is that whenever you have something that calls for a recipe, you want it to be as secret as possible because, like, if you mass produce your recipe, like, you lose sort of like the ability to monopolize it, right? Like,
Mhm.
but yeah, so that's me in a nutshell: fine art and design, and then I co-host a radio show on Coog Radio. It's the University of Houston's radio station called NPR with my best friend Jordan Flores. It's Music Pouch Radio, but we call it NPR. Um, that's just so hopefully National Public Radio comes after us and NPR. They're like, it sounds too close, so we can get that raise the clout meter a bit. But yeah, it's NPR Music Pouch Radio. It's every Saturday, 7 to 8. So we try to play a really large open format, like the biggest open format as possible. But currently, uh, I don't think we played a single female. Oh no, we did. I'm just kidding. Um, it was crazy. It was all male music for like 4 or 5 episodes, and then finally, I think Jordan realized before I did, and he played this crazy um, Gabriel Garcon Montana remix by Lil Sims. Little Sims. And the song's mad. So if you're looking for a new tune, figure out what I just like described. I'm not even gonna say the name, but yeah, if you ever want to tune in, I'm just plugging myself here. 7 to 8 Saturdays on Coog Radio, COOG Radio. It's NPR. We'll be on. So tomorrow we'll be on. And then I'll try to pick up little things here and there, learn something new, add it to the skill set. So I'm a student. Last, I
Forever
guess.
student.
Yeah, forever a student.
So this is actually the second time we've talked,
Yeah.
and because fuck YouTube and fuck my
You,
computer first and foremost.
you know what? We're going to backtrack because whenever you start talking about these big companies like a Facebook, Google, Amazon, you don't really. I'm never going to curse one of those because hey man, you can't say fuck YouTube on their platform. I mean, you can. It's whatever.
Yeah, that's true.
But
Actually, no, I don't think you can. Like YouTube's like fucking soft banning people now.
yeah, see, man, then don't get banned.
I'm sorry, YouTube. Like I've been on YouTube since I was fucking like too young, like way too young to be
Yeah,
on YouTube. To be honest
I
with you,
remember life without YouTube. To be honest, I can remember that.
I remember it too. I remember the first time I went on YouTube. I typed in "U," like the letter U and tube.
I'm dead.
Yeah. Like I will know how fucking young I was actually. I think it was like oh fuck. It might be like 2006.
Yeah.
2006.
It used to be so unorganized and uncomfortable to use. There were times where you could search for something and you wouldn't find it, and it was crazy. But
Mhm.
now, I mean, you search for something and there's too many options to choose from. But yeah, YouTube's it's kind of crazy how many people learn from YouTube, how many people have like full shows on YouTube. Like, I
Like
don't know.
YouTube Red is a thing now.
Oh yeah, is YouTube Red the one where you can play music without like having to have the app open, or is that YouTube, or what is it, or is YouTube
That's
TV?
they've got like a bunch of shit now. They've got like YouTube Music is the one you can play just the music, and that works with like Alexa and Google Home and all that.
Oh, it's
I'm not
lit.
gonna call that bullshit. And then they have YouTube Red is like that's like the higher end content. Like, do you see the sneak? Do you see that sneaker reality show with like Susie?
Who?
Oh fuck! I thought Susie was more popular. I thought I was, but like they've got like a YouTuber hosting a reality show about like people designing sneakers for like Adidas and try to get Adidas design job.
That's crazy. Are the shoes at least good?
Nah, I had to stop watching
Oh
after the first
man.
episode.
What about like Apple Music's TV, the app show that's like Shark Tank, but it's about apps?
Oh, Battle
Is
of the
that,
Apps or something,
is that
Warfare.
fire?
I haven't watched it. Like,
Yeah, then it's not fire.
I don't know. Gary V's on it, but like, I don't know. But maybe that's a little bit too much Gary V for anyone's life.
That's what I'm saying. That's full length episodes. Hour episodes. Apple Music wouldn't put out no 30-minute TV show.
Yeah. I don't,
So
I don't know, man. Everyone's trying to saturate us with too much content.
yeah, I'm not trying to hear all that. I don't want to watch it. Put on a better show. Like that's
Like,
just how I feel, I guess. But yeah, you're totally right. Everything's getting super saturated. It almost makes me feel like I don't want to do what I do
I don't
sometimes.
want to consume shit. Like,
Yeah, I'm like, I'm just making more stuff for people to look at. And it's like, what if they don't want to look at anything else by the time,
fucking
this is good?
21 Savage. What was it?
Metro
Was it
Boomin.
Metro Boomin and Quavo?
No, it was Offset
I'm fucking
without
sorry,
warning.
man.
That
I
shit's
can't tell them apart sometimes.
yeah, they're mixing melodies for
Yeah.
sure. They spend too much time together.
I didn't even listen to that album.
You should have
Like,
done. You still need to. It's crazy
it's
actually.
fine. I was just annoyed because I was like, why the fuck is this happening? Like,
Yeah,
this
it's
is so
without
random.
warning. It was a Halloween thing.
No, but it was just so
Skepta
random.
dropped it. Yeah, it really was though. It was without warning. They did
And then
well
fucking 21 Savage did a song with Rich Chigga, which I thought that was like, okay,
recently.
in my head, I was like, okay, 21 Savage is a real businessman now. Cause like when Dat Stick dropped, he was like, who the fuck is this little Asian kid with a fanny pack? And now he's doing
Yeah,
a
I
trap
forgot
album.
about the video. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
And I'm just like, okay, so this guy's really like he's using his brain now. Like he's just
Yeah,
working on some real like, yeah, this kid has clout. I mean,
definitely. It's for the bag.
yeah, like I don't know, like when I like when rappers are still dumb. Like when they still just doing shit just because they want to do it.
Yeah,
Like
but there's a certain line for somebody like 21 because I feel like I mean I don't know what's real, what's fake or whatever, but I feel like he's the type of person who could honestly go back to a trap life and ruin his fucking life.
I
Like I
don't
feel
know,
like
man.
I really do. I mean, I've the few documentaries that I've seen parts of that he's in, some of the things he's talked about, like how many of his friends, like how many funerals he's been through in his life, and he's not even 30. Like that's crazy to me. And so I feel like if you can come from that and become a rapper, you could just as easily fall back into it and like absolutely turn your life all the way back around another 180.
I think that like if you're coming from that, you should like be like, fuck, I could be next and just avoid it. But
Yeah, that's very easy to say.
yeah, it's easier to say than it is to do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Now let's get back to you and step away from pop culture. Even though uh like something people might not know about you is that you actually like are educated, you went to school, you got your bachelor's, and you basically ended up doing your like you did a double major in popular culture and art, correct?
Yeah.
And it's like, how does that influence you on a day-to-day basis now? Because like you really went to school for something that people are gonna tell you that you can't like work with this, like, but you ended up like what you do on a day-to-day basis is directly related to what you went to school for.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of like cliches. This kind of ties into popular culture. Like there's a lot of like honest cliches that happen in a lot of people's lives. It's almost like if you think about like on Twitter, whenever people say like really relatable things, but they're like quirky, right? So like, does
Mhm.
anybody else like take perfect steps between the squares on the sidewalk? And then people are like, damn, I swear everybody on Twitter lived the same life. You know what I'm talking about? Like those
Mhm.
types of posts. There's those same cliches with education, right? So like people think that um if you're an art major, like you can't really like succeed, or like if you study in humanities, it's like you're going to be a teacher or nothing else. But then there's like the whole idea of like if you can't do teach, and then there's the whole idea of like you don't have to listen to what people think and blah blah blah. And so if you're able to like find the right way to fine tune all that and sort of like on any given moment understand that you can take the good and leave the bad from whatever anyone says to you, then through college, if you need it, you can make the school do what you need to do. You just can't take no for an answer and understand where you can butt heads, and you can end up sort of like making what you do in school apply. Because that's basically what I did. Like, I was able to transform a lot of classes to be able to count for certain things. And
Mhm.
then the art major was pretty self-explanatory. You know, you have your fundamentals courses, and then you have like mid-level, sort of like obviously everybody in here wants to be in an art class versus like since the school was small, there was a lot of times where I was in art classes, but there weren't classes for non-majors. So like I would just be totally like I wouldn't be able to really vibe with anyone, and the people I could vibe with were like they're super cool, but then on this like flip side, it felt weird. Like there was like animosity, or like I don't get along with you. I wouldn't get along with you if I was at home. Like I have to get along with you because I'm here.
Oh, okay. You're a better person than I am.
Yeah.
I'm a
I
dickhead if I really don't like you, I'm a dickhead. I'm sorry.
oh no. Like I I was in a fair share of like my mouth got me in trouble for being too honest type situations. And some people aren't very good at handling that. Those people aren't very good at handling that, if you understand what I mean by those people. But um, it's true. But yeah. Education was something that was sort of like I always remember my parents like really making it a big deal that I don't know. I don't know. They'd have to say, I don't know if it was really like go to college or if it was just like don't be stupid. Like if anything, just don't be a stupid person. Like be as smart as you can be. If that means go to college, go to college. But I think that they would rather me have just a ton of knowledge and be able to like support myself based off of what I know versus like hate what I do. And that was I think that's part of the reason why they were like as the people they are, like sort of like allowing me to be an army. There was definitely times where like what I was studying caused some of my interpersonal relationships to be super duper rocky, or to also end, or new relationships were created based off of it. But once the certain people who were sort of like on the fence about what I was doing, and like, oh, like I tweet about it a lot, or well, I used to tweet about it a lot, like, what are you gonna do with an art major? And I always tweet it out with like random shit that I end up doing or accomplish, or this, that, and the other. And as those people who are on the rocky side of the relationship start seeing more and more come out, they're like, oh, that makes sense. But from the beginning, I don't understand why people don't get it. Like somehow there's like this stigma around art majors or humanities majors, like creative. sort of majors
Mm.
that aren't like design, that don't have like this like cool name, right? But then like, you know, why would you want to be a fashion designer? But then like on the flip side, you're like into really high fashion, like you pay attention to the clothes you wear, but like you wouldn't want your kids to be a designer. I don't get it. Or like, you know, why would you be an art major and like you go and you want to find the best paintings and the best stuff to put in your house, but you don't want your, you see what I'm saying? Like those same
Mm.
people you're giving money to decorate your home, to decorate your body with clothing are the same exact people that your kids want to be, but you don't want your kids to do that. It does, like, you see what I'm saying? Like in the first place, you have this high taste level, or you think you have this high taste level, but you don't understand that somebody makes the stuff that you're into, and that could be your son or daughter or Z or whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like it's really weird. But I don't know. I just found a way to, like I said, take the good and leave the bad, because that's one thing definitely growing up under, like, knowing that I wanted to be an artist or something, or just a creative person. It was something I started realizing at a young age, that it's going to be a problem for some people to understand, and I have to be good at combating that and like standing up for what I'm doing, because that's something that everybody's going to face. I feel like, unless you're in a creative family or you're in a creative environment from the beginning, then you're just lucky, right? Like
Mhm.
that you're just in this like really, really, really positive environment. But honestly, if you are in like a massive positive environment for your creativity, the second you hit negativity, does that mean that like you're
You
gonna,
break.
you break and you crumble immediately, or because you're so used to the positivity, you're just like, you stay calm and you get through it? But that's neither here nor there, I feel like. But
Huh. How did your parents react to it? Because like they're immigrants. Your mom works in the financial industry and she's pretty high up, and your
yeah,
dad's a automobile mechanical engineer, right?
yeah,
How they feel about you like pursuing creativity, or was it just something that they saw coming since you were like young?
yeah. I think they just, at first, I think they thought it was just a phase, until I was starting to have as much extracurricular activity with sports as I did with art, or with art as I did with sports, I should say that way, because sports were like, if I wasn't doing sports, or if I wasn't doing like an art thing, or like listening to some type of music really loud, I was playing a sport, right? So like whenever it was like, my life was like 65% sports, 20% school. Sorry to say, but it's true. And then 15% artwork, right? And so whenever artwork and school sort of like merged and became like that solid, 40% or 45%, whatever it may be, and took away, 5, 6, 7% from sports, that sort of like switch was whenever my parents realized that like maybe this is what he's actually going to do. And so they tried their best to advise me and guide me to success. So I'm not going to say that they're not supportive, but I will say that they're definitely like on the side of protection versus the side of support. So like they want to make sure that what I'm doing doesn't cause me any issues and I'm doing it the right way and is as successful as possible. But it's not as if they're like asking to see a design,
Hmm.
or they're not really asking to see like a process with a ceramic piece, or they're not really like asking questions. No, it's just more like, that's good, and that's cool with me. I think that I don't really do it for them, right? Like it's like cool whenever they're able to support and they're able to like say like, I enjoy this, that you do this, and blah blah blah. Cool, yeah. But to be honest, I do it because I like what I'm doing, and I mean, for me now, they are like, their opinion doesn't necessarily not matter, but it doesn't matter. Like whether they care now or not doesn't matter. It's past that point. So would I've liked more support? For sure. I'd never say no to more support. You see what I'm saying? But like
Mm-hmm.
I came out the way I did because of what I had, and I don't regret it. I don't regret their support or their level of support at all. They took it well, I guess, whenever they realized I was going to be an art major. But they, like I said, I was saying it earlier, it's gotten better because they see like, oh wow, like it's not just this, it's that, it's that, it's that, it's this. Oh wow, you're learning this too. How are you learning it? It sort of like gone from like their idea of an art major is completely shattered. Like, and it's like, how did you study art, but you're doing all this stuff as well? So I don't know. I think that's probably really important. That might be something that's very important for anyone. Hopefully, that helps someone. Like, if you're able to change somebody's entire perspective of what they thought your ideas or who you are was, then I feel like that's job done. I don't know.
I think they took it pretty well considering like you have African immigrant parents and you still live at home with them.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, honestly, if I had less student loan debt, I would have probably just moved immediately after school. But like my school is pretty expensive, so like it was a easier decision to stay home and work from my room and then use like co-working spaces and stuff like that
Mm-hmm.
because like otherwise it'd be impossible to. I'm just thinking about like credit report, like the way credit works and everything. Like the amount of debt would like cause me to not really be able to rent places and stuff like that. Just because like 33,000 is a fucking, it's a lot of money. So, but I mean, it's going down. Whenever I left, I think I was at 38 plus like the 10K I'd already paid.
Fuck.
So out of school so far, I've given back 20,000, which is, I mean, I don't know how many people can say that, but you see what I'm saying about like
Yeah,
why I still live at home. Like that's 20,000.
I couldn't do that.
Yeah. I
I'm
mean,
just lucky.
would I rather be 20,000? Like, would I rather have like 48,000 or however much in debt and be like living on my own? Mm, no, not at all. I'd rather be as responsible as I can now, so that like whenever I'm older, I'm like living high life. Like that's something I started learning about creativity. That's something I wish I would have learned in school. It's just something they don't really teach you. Is like if you're going to be a creative person, you have to be in it for the long run, not short term. Because like if you're thinking short term, you will hate it and you're going to switch professions immediately. But like, are you willing to start at 18 and not get any recognition until you're 35? That's a real question you have to ask yourself, and that's a question I started asking myself pretty recently. It was like, I'm not in a place where I can like fly to LA, fly to New York, fly to London, fly to Paris, and just like get shit to like do crazy shit. No, but like, is that worth doing right now at 24, going on 25? Yeah, but like, I'd rather be able to do that and like raise a family across the world than just do it by myself. Like, I'm cool. I love myself. But like I'd rather be able to share that with a bunch of people that I love as well than to just like do it now. I
That's
don't
a big
know.
thing that people don't really take in is like they like you have a lot of like kids like my age where they're like, yeah, I have to be like the shit now. Like they see like guys like Virgil and they're like, you have to be the shit now.
Now, yeah.
But like Virgil didn't really like hit like his stride until like he was like 30.
Yeah, Virgil's like almost 40
Yeah, like he
and
didn't
like
really.
he's top of the world now. Like think about it. Like he's like a dad. He's literally a real dad. Like,
And like
and
he's
he's on top now, like just recent. 3 years ago, people didn't know who Virgil was.
exactly.
Honestly, a year ago, people didn't really know who Virgil was. 2016 might have been his like coming up. This is his peak year so far. I mean, obviously peak performance. He can probably still go up from here. I don't know to where, but like it's crazy. Like that long haul. Like he started architecture school, like finished school at 22. He's like
He
35,
got mass.
36, and then got a master's. Yeah, 35, 36. Like that was 10 years. That's 10 years just there. So like I don't know. I stopped worrying about sort of like high success levels and understand this was like all things I was thinking about when I decided to like stay home, because it's like would I rather like these digits looming over my head, like I have to pay this, I have to pay this, and it's like it might be like a driving force to work harder, but it's just easier to pay it off. Plus credit score, like my credit score crazy because of like the student loan payment. So I don't know.
Like
All all to be a good part of Donald Trump's America. So,
uh
gee.
I was talking to like this random guy one time when I was at the mall. He was like, he went to school for music. And I asked him like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to pay off like my student loans." I was like, "Well, at least you went to school for some shit you liked. Like, you aren't really
Yeah,
supposed to have your life together until like you really aren't supposed to have your life together when you're like 22, 23. Like
yeah.
that shit doesn't really happen unless like Lena, the last person I had on my podcast, like she has her shit together and she just hit 27. Like she just bought a house.
Yeah, see, that's how I definitely want to be able to buy a house soon.
Well, you live in Texas, so that's not impossible for you.
No, but the thing about it is, right, is that I don't know if I want to sign one of these like 30-year mortgages and all of
Yeah.
that. No, I think that I'd rather I don't know. I'm also just trying to come up off an estate sale or something crazy. Like I want to try to get more than one house. If I'm gonna buy a house, I want to like instead of buying one big house, I might buy like two small houses and then make money off of one and live in the other. Like I don't really personally, I don't like I just don't like the idea of having like this massive house or like too much stuff. I'd rather live like pretty minimally, less surfaces. Like in my room now, I only have three surfaces plus a bookshelf, and I can't do more than that. Even in
I
a whole house, just like maybe like a dining table, and then everything else would just be like sit.
I couldn't live in a big house just because I'm so fucking paranoid. Like
Yeah,
I live in an apartment right now, and I'm still just like I gotta like check the closets and shit. Like I'm just freaked out. I'm just like, what if a nigga like sneaks up on me?
I'm dead. That's
If
crazy.
I lived in a big house, I'd be so fucking paranoid all the time. I'd be
Too
like,
much.
there could literally be some if your house is big enough, there could literally be someone in there the whole time, and they could
And
just
you don't
avoid
know.
you.
Yeah, real shit. That's what I'm saying. Like it's weird. Like how could you have corridors in your house and like, are you sure all the doors were locked? Like you like
Exactly. Like that shit kind of freaks me out. I don't know if it's like some crazy like because black people are so fucking paranoid about their property for some reason. I
yeah, I
think that
don't
might be it. But I'm just like, yeah, like if if there were too many entrances, how am I gonna know when where someone's gonna come in from?
That's part of the reason why I'm kind of conflicted being in the suburbs also, is just because like kids out here they play too much. First of
Exactly.
all. Second of all, like it's just weird. Gated communities and all that and just houses with no character. You see the same house in every neighborhood. Like you can see like the neighborhood has like four styles of house and they're all just built with a couple different bricks. It's the most annoying thing. Very cookie cutter. I'd rather just keep the windows blacked out. Just like look at the world through my computer screen now. I
See,
don't
that's
know.
like the fucked up thing about like I'd say anyone who's like 18 to 28 right now. We're torn between like, oh yeah, I want to go off and live in like this bohemian lifestyle. I have like a really nice condo and shit. And then there's the practicality in us where they're like, yeah, like I think I should just like settle down and buy a house. And we're just torn.
Yeah, you kind of just jump back and forth.
Because you've got like what your parents say to you, and you've got like the obvious like in your 20s like bullshit
Yeah.
imagination.
Well, and that's the thing. I wouldn't even call it bullshit. I think it's more like it's like what your like inner drive is telling you to do
Yeah,
versus like, this is somebody who's gone through their life and sort of like seen the ups and downs of life and has been at the point where you are in just like a different like reality. Because that's something that I've sort of like butted heads with my parents on before, is just because like they're not super old, but they definitely didn't grow up how I'm growing up. Let it like and most what I'm talking about mostly is technology and like just like the way that that's affected life. Like they saw like the start of the computer and all of that, but I'm like we're in the sort of like technology is literally changing the way our lives work. Like
it's literally how we work now.
yeah, exactly. It's like ingrained. It's a part of everyday life, and that's something that like the instantaneous like absorption of knowledge on like the quickest scale compared to they were reading books. Like we have phones that will read a book to us.
That's some shit that kind of annoys me because you ever meet someone who doesn't Google shit?
Yeah, and they'll ask like what like mad questions. Like it's like, bro, you asked me 4 questions that I know Siri can answer.
Yeah.
And I see your iPhone sitting there. That's my biggest pet peeve are people with like wild expensive technology but poor ability. Like you can't use it, but you bought it. So
I
like
have a friend like that.
why?
I have a friend like that where he needs like he always says like he needs like every other iPhone, but like this motherfucker doesn't use Siri. This mother like he doesn't play like games on his phone or shit. Like he literally just text message, Snapchat, phone calls.
Dead.
I'm like, I got an Android phone now because like my fucking iPhone cracked, and I just realized this shit. Have you ever used the OK Google shit?
Nah, I had a BlackBerry and then I was iPhone gang.
No, you got like watch the shit. OK Google. Like this shit's fucking like see like it. I literally don't have to use my hands anymore.
Oh, that's fire. I think they have that on the iPhone one. It's hey Siri, but I don't use it like that. I'm still the home button type of person.
I don't know. Man. I feel like Siri became like stupid after a while.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
I'm on an iPhone 6 still. I
I
don't
was
know.
on 5S and I cracked that shit.
Yeah, I went from an iPhone 4S straight to the 6, and I think I might have a dead phone, but I think I might go uh, iPhone 6S Plus and then stop. I'm not getting rid of no aux cord. They have me so
That's what I'm saying, bro.
they're stupid as hell for that. I want to
Like
know, bro. I want to slap whoever was in that meeting and was like, "Hey, let's take off the aux cord." And someone was like, "Jeff, you're a genius." What? Because
no,
there was like 2 people. There were 2 people in the back of that in that meeting. Like these mother. And then their faces completely changed when everyone in the room agreed. They were like, "Wait, no, y'all aren't serious about this aux cord thing, right?" And they removed it. So no, I don't think I'll
Apple
ever until they bring
Apple
it
doesn't give
back.
a fuck
They don't give
anymore.
a damn,
Okay,
bro. They don't
they
give
really
a
don't
damn.
care anymore because like they know everyone doesn't fucking like it.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
just
you
like
don't like
fuck
it? You're
it.
still gonna buy it, so even
Yeah,
if you don't
exactly.
like
They're
it,
like fuck it.
because it's like what's better? Like I'm not going to no Samsung. Samsungs were blowing up on people. No, nobody was safe, bro. The Samsung blew up on CeeLo, bro. Like imagine little CeeLo just in the chair, bald head, big teeth. Bah! Like
Like,
no, bro. I'm not doing that. When I saw the video of the phone exploding, I was like, no, I can't. So I'm just gonna go on ahead with this iPhone and just keep all and just get a couple iPhones, right? And just have them in stock. Whenever it dies, I need to re up and get a new one. I just go to the closet and reactivate the next one.
this guy have a closet of iPhones like every
Six
2 years.
plus, 6 plus only. I'm gonna just get a couple of them, and they'll just be ready.
They're pretty cheap now, actually.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care about any of the features. Like, the camera is good enough. Like, the screen is good enough. I don't really care for portrait mode. I'd rather have an aux cord than portrait mode. Like, it'd be so fucked up. Like, what are they thinking?
It's funny that you say that because like I feel like a lot of people who work in the creative industry, they're like, yeah, I need the newest iPhone.
Doesn't
And they
change
always
shit.
come up with like some bullshit excuse for how it fits into their workflow or it makes their workflow better.
It doesn't.
I wanted an S7. Like I wanted a Samsung just because I was like, it's waterproof. When they were like, this shit's waterproof, I was like, so I can use this in the shower. That's what caught me. I was like,
Oh, that's kind of fire,
yeah,
though.
I was like, fuck, like that cuts out that I can actually be very productive with my time, but I know I'm just gonna use it for bullshit in the shower because I'm a
Yeah.
jackass. But back to the like important shit. What does like your day to day like workflow look like? What do you do during the day?
Well, depending on what I do. So from the last time we talked, it actually schedule kind of changes a little bit.
Yeah, because I remember you used to be
Um,
like super into like the fitness wave.
yeah, so I still wake up and I try my best to cook uh every single thing I eat. Like not necessarily like cook it, but at least I'm like making the food at
Hmm.
home. That's something that I'm really really into is cooking. Actually, one of my Jordan, who I talked about earlier with the radio show, there we're doing like a friendsgiving, so I'm making some roasted chickens. I actually need to do that later. Thanks for the reminder. But yeah, I enjoy cooking. Just food in general, it's really cool. It's sort of like real life design, right? Like nutrition design. I don't know. And so I like cooking breakfast to start with the day, whatever it is. But usually I eat 4 eggs, spinach, mushrooms, and onions and cheese scrambled or an omelet. It's pretty much every day I eat the same breakfast.
Jesus
Um,
Christ, that's a lot of fucking eggs.
Not really.
I can have like max 2 eggs, but also like you're literally like twice my size, which might have to
Yeah.
factor into it.
I think that yeah, that's probably exactly what it is. But yeah, and then I try my best to watch something that has nothing to do with like anything I'm gonna work on that day. So I just like I might watch another recipe. I might watch like random stuff like FIFA and chill, like just like funny stuff. Or like soccer related stuff. I'll always like catch up on like because the FA, the Football Association, it's the English like soccer governing body.
Hmm.
They always put out these crazy videos of the English national team in practice or in training, goalkeeper sessions and stuff like that. They're a lot of fun to watch. And then I'll just dive into work, whatever it is. So like right now, I'm working on a few websites. I'm working on a portfolio site for a client. I'm working on my portfolio site still. Somehow it just always gets pushed back, and I'm working on someone else's stuff. But
I
right
know exactly
now,
how the fuck it feels.
I just need to work on me, and I need to get my stuff out, and I definitely need to get the work I've done out and collected properly together because there's a lot of it across a ton of media, and I think that that's something that's been hindering me for the past year is that like there's no one place where people can just say like this is where all of his stuff is, and you can see it all A to B design to fine art or whatever event market whatever it is I've done all in one place. So I'm working on that, and then so right now it's a really big sort of like design and development workflow. uh, I just actually bought Sketch last week.
I
I've
still
just
haven't bought it. I pirated it.
yeah, I mean, I was using the trial, and I was like, I think I like this, and then I also um just finished understanding how Lottie works, the animation thing from the Airbnb design team. So you
Mhm.
can take like an After Effects um animation and then convert it to like a JSON file with body movement. It's like this plugin, and then so basically, just you can do all the work in After Effects, and then your design is scalable for Android, iOS, Mac OS. Like, so it's basically mobile and the web. So it's like native apps. For so your animations are the same across all of your applications. Excuse me. So that was super cool. And I'm really trying to dive into that because I need to get a bit of motion design under my belt as well, so I can kind of like have a very, very broad skill set. So yeah, it's just wake up, eat breakfast, work on stuff, sleep a little bit, eat, work on stuff, sleep a little bit, eat, work on stuff. It's just a bit of a eat, sleep, work cycle now. And then I play soccer still, not as much as before, but I play soccer with people ranging from dads to young people. So I'm pretty boring.
Oh, you are pretty boring. Like, I think like
Regular, I think I'll say.
I don't think people like know. I don't think we even got in like the last one because we lost the file. But fucking, you used to play college level football, like soccer for like people in the Western world.
Yeah. I was shout out to my homies, la hermanidad, todos mis hermanos, becarios, todos. Y yeah, bro. I played at Austin College, Sherman, Texas. I played my freshman year. I did not touch the field, but that was all my fault. I had control of that, and I didn't seize that at all. And then I played 3 years after that. I didn't score tremendous. I went from being a center back to a forward. I didn't score a tremendous amount of goals at all. I think I scored 4 goals in 3 years. It was pretty bad goal record, actually. But yeah, I enjoyed my time there. Soccer is just something that I've always done. My dad was a pro, so like it's just always been around. Uh, and I can't stop playing. It's kind of difficult. But yeah, college soccer is it's a trip, man, because like it wasn't the highest level possible to play at by any means, but you still have a sort of a sense of professionalism in what you're doing. And people might like, because like right now it's like kind of like cool to make fun of the way athletes talk,
Mhm.
like the whole like meme thing, and some of that's really, really funny because the pros really, really like they are, sorry, not memes, emojis. They really use emojis kind of wild, but like at the end of the day, it's like a choice that you made consciously, and this is something that's like important to you. And so people can always find humor in that, but like at the end of the day, this is something that's important to somebody, and they take it seriously, and it does well for a lot of people. Not only like if we win games, but the school does better if we win games. You know, there's more recruiting power for the school, the institution, if we win games. Blah blah blah. So there's a lot that goes into it, and yeah, I played college soccer. It's so crazy to think about. Uh, just
It
like
wasn't even that long ago. We made it seem
no,
like it was long
it's
ago.
a few years. 2 years ago was my senior season, but it's just weird to be. It's like I don't know. A lot of people that I know who have been in my shoes as like college athletes are still doing something very, very, very athletic, like coaching or weight trainers or physios, things like that. But I'm like doing this whole creative. I don't know many people who are like into college athletics and then like are doing something sort of like creative. The only person I can really think of is Sammy Adams, the rapper. Sammy Adams
Oh
played like
yeah,
he played like 4 years of college soccer or 3 years of college soccer
I
somewhere.
forgot that guy existed.
Yeah, same. He just the only reason why I know is because he performed at my school. It's kind of crazy. Our school like throws this concert every year. We had Waka Flocka. It was lit. It was so crazy. It was insane. They made a poor decision letting Waka Flocka come to our school because we were so crazy. Everybody went crazy that day. But yeah, college soccer is a trip, man. I miss those days being on the bus and stuff. It was a great time while we were traveling to listen to music. That's whenever I really started the whole music pouch thing. Was on a college soccer trip. I like literally made a Tumblr account with my iPhone 4, I think, on a trip. I think we were going to San Antonio to play Trinity or somewhere around there. I know it was Central Texas, but that's where it started because I was like, dang, I have all this time and I'm tired of watching these trash movies because like there's no Wi-Fi on the bus, or if there was, it's like terrible connections. So you
Mhm.
had to download movies ahead of time, but like on the school network, like you couldn't really torrent that well because like it's against the law and you're not supposed to do that. So we were good kids and we weren't torrenting. There was no way that we could just like use an Ethernet cable and bypass any network settings whatsoever.
I
So
love the sarcasm.
so it's so simple, but yeah, I mean, shouts out to all the college athletes out there. Keep working hard. Don't go to that party tonight. Just saying.
I think some college athletes really need to hear that.
Oh yeah.
But how did you balance like going to school, playing on a school team, doing all of this creative shit? Because you learned Photoshop when you were in college, and then you were doing like event work for like, and you were doing events like South by Southwest. How do you like have all of that on your plate when you're like 18 to 22?
You know when you're just like in it, you sometimes you don't realize you don't have like the time or the wisdom to like step back and say, whoa, like maybe I should take a break here, or maybe I should really pay attention to saying yes to something when I should say hold on, or like maybe not. But then also, I'd say I was always playing a sport and going to school. Like when it mattered, right? Like when I was like old enough to like take care of myself or like understand consequences and things like that. Not like obviously whenever I was a kid, I was like going to school and playing a sport, but it didn't really like school wasn't that important in terms of like this like future of my life. Like obviously it's a foundation, but like from high school and being able to drive till up till now, pretty much I'd always been on a sports team, on a soccer team, playing and then going to school. So I just like knew how to manage my time. Although going to college, it was a bit difficult. Like my freshman year, I didn't do much creative work. Like I made like maybe like in a year, I probably made like 10 ceramic pieces. So I was trying to like figure it out then, but it's just crucial time management. And like, it's like not anything crazy. Like I'm not one to use a planner. I'm not one to put really that many like calendar notifications in my phone, but it's just understanding that like okay, soccer is going to last till this, but like I'm not going to be physically able to do anything until this time. And so understanding and being able to communicate that with people saved my life like numerous occasions. So like when I first started out, it was very difficult. I wasn't mature enough to be able to just say like, "Hey, no, I need to take a shower and like stretch before like I talk to you on the phone, or like before I can look at this design, or before I can like try to teach myself anything." It's like I'm going to take care of everything I need to take care of first,
Mm.
um, and then use the time wisely. But it's to be honest, it's not hard because you're putting in all that physical work as an athlete. So like physically you're fit enough, you don't need to sleep as much, and then mentally obviously like you push yourself through your athletic work, so you should be able to push yourself through the stuff you enjoy doing as well, because like you're just doing two things that you enjoy, right? So like at the end of the day, I'm having fun. uh I was having fun, I still am having fun being able to run about and then also sit at a computer and make stuff cool. I don't know, it was just simple, keeping calm.
Do you ever feel like you stretch yourself too thin in terms of like everything that you do? Like, do you ever think that you should have like stepped back and be like, yeah, I should have been like a master at ceramics? or should I like really push myself to become like a pro athlete?
Yeah, that the athletic side way more than the ceramics. The ceramic side, I have too much time to become a like a real man. I to me personally, I'd like to say that I've mastered ceramics. Like I've gotten to the point where like with ceramics, all I have are ideas of like new technique, like groundbreaking for me. I don't like I have to go research and find out whether or not someone has done this already, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like so in that case, no, not really. Like there's some things left for me to explore in ceramics, but not much. I don't think much in terms of like the way I like to work and what I want to do. But with soccer, for sure, there are times where I was playing whenever I was like senior in high school, and I'd be like at my club in practice and thinking in my head like, dang, dude, like you could really go do this, I think. And then like not really like working hard, because like the thing about me and soccer is that like soccer takes like this crazy amount of fitness but also this crazy amount of like mental fitness as well, and I completely lack mental fitness. Like I get like I get like physically tired, um but like I can push my body to keep going, but like once my mind gets tired, it's like I'm pretty much finished. Like if my like if I'm like making judgment lapses because I'm tired, that's whenever like I'm at my poorest ability playing soccer. And that's something that you can't really have as a pro athlete. Like that's the whole point of being a pro athlete, is that your mind is strong enough to push your body. But what happens when your mind is like too weak to keep your body going? Then you can't do your job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, there's times where I like thinking about it. It's like, dang, I feel like if I when I was younger, if I had just like pushed myself to run more or like push myself to like not be as tired, it would have like translated forward and forward and forward to my age. Because like just based on stature, I could be a pro soccer player because I'm 6 foot something, and like there aren't many big soccer players that are like
Forwards.
not yeah that are forwards but aren't just like big for like you see what I'm saying, like I'm big enough and I can use my body the right way, and I can also dribble a bit, like so like in another life for sure I'd be a pro soccer player, but I'm pretty happy where I am now. Obviously it's like something that I've spent my whole life doing. I'd love to be able to do it for money. I mean, it's still a possibility. I'm only 25. If I got super duper fit, I could go trials and all of that, and then see where it takes me. But it'd have to be for a good amount of money. Like, so, like, I'm not saying I'm trying to make like 150K a week or anything. But if I could make 150K a year playing soccer, I'd do it.
I just want to take a step back and say that when you say I'm only 25, my first thought was a Drake lyric.
No, don't ever put me in a sentence with Drake like that.
I know you aren't a fan of Drake.
I'm not.
Uh, but stepping away from like the soccer influence, like how is like back to like touching on Drake now, how is Houston like growing up in Texas like influenced like you as a creative, because it has such like a rich like hip hop background and creative scene.
Yeah, so the thing about growing up in Houston is that I didn't really like. I grew up everywhere. So like I was born in Oklahoma, and I lived there until I was 12. Then I lived in Cincinnati from like 12 and 13 up till um, my freshman year of high school, and then I moved to Texas. So like, there's a lot that I was like taking in living it, like because where I lived in Oklahoma was like a couple, like I could ride my bike to this like random museum that wasn't too far. It was like literally like 2-3 blocks away. And then in Cincinnati, I just like didn't have anything artistic, but it was a lot of things that were like very athletic. Like I started like actually using a gym whenever I was in Ohio. Then moving to Texas was sort of like culture shock in a way, where everywhere I'd lived before, there was only a little bit, right?
Hmm.
Like there was like a little bit of like artwork. There was a little bit of design here. There's a little bit of do it yourself creativity. And then moving to Texas, it was just like it was like glitz and glam. Like I feel like if I had moved from Cincinnati to like New York or LA, I probably would have been like overloaded. It would have been too much. But like not but with Houston it's like got this even sort of like everything is music, everything is like southern. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's kind of cool the way that current trends and current pop culture have like influenced Houston, but Houston has still stayed the same. Like it stayed like the sort of like slow, loud, and banging mixed with like high taste levels. It's weird. And so I've surely been able to like take that idea, but then also mash it up with the fact that I've been around the suburbs for most of my life. And so I've been able to find like a really interesting in between of suburban lifestyle mixed with like city southern Houston. I don't if that makes any sense at all.
I understand what you mean because like
Yeah,
you're getting two very different, how I say, like vibes really.
yeah,
Because when you're like in the suburbs, like you're craving for all like this creative stimulus,
yeah,
and then once you get into like the city, it's like you're touching on it. It's just like it's a weird feeling because I understand like
yeah,
I understand the feeling where it's like you finally get to that point. Where you're just like I've started trying to express like these mental manifestate like mental feelings as like physical manifestations. And it's almost like it feels like a glow, doesn't it? Like once you finally like
yeah,
touched on this creative shit, like you know what I mean. Like it feels like a glow inside of you.
yeah, exactly.
Uh, but I think the thing that's interesting about you is the fact that like you had that like I consider you someone who's like had that innate like creative like hunger in you, and then once you got it, you ended up starting something like the music pouch where like you were curating and sharing this with people. So, uh, how do you feel like can you explain what the music pouch is and how like you're and try to connect like your background as like someone who's had like creative hunger and then you get fed and then you feel like you need to like start like curating it because you're also into like uh I know you told me you're into like trying to break into like music selection for movies as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so the music pouch is I think I was talking about it earlier. The music pouch is just like an idea that I had. Um and I would just listen to so much music. I think the last time we talked, I had a bunch of hard drives sitting around. I've actually since then put that in an enclosure. So I have, I mean, a library of music throughout this house, throughout my parents' house, on hard drives, on um, different formats, from tapes and cassettes to VHS, like MTV recording stuff to CDs to vinyl. Um, I might even have some kind of crazy 8-track type stuff in here somewhere. But I just have so much music, and I just like wanted a way to share that with the people at my school because I used to like I would go to a party or I'd go to someone's place and they were listening to like some lame stuff. Like it was like this isn't good enough for you to call this like new music. Like this isn't polished. This isn't like this is like you in your bedroom that no one was supposed to hear. And that's how I felt every time somebody was playing me music. So I wanted to give like people at least like a outlet or like somewhere that they could like go and look and find new music that was like of a certain quality because of like the different backgrounds that I have in my family, the different like amounts of music that my parents listen to, and the different amounts of music that were like playing based on where I was living. So like in Oklahoma, like we had like this crazy mix of like obviously like pop music, but then there was like country music and all this other stuff. So like it was really, really crazy. And then I moved to Ohio, and in Oklahoma, like around that time, they weren't playing rap music. And then I moved to Ohio, and there was a ton of rap music playing. I moved to Houston, and it's like, why is this song so slow, and why do they keep rewinding the track, and like why is this guy saying the same thing over? And I'm like, oh, it's chopped and screwed. Like that's what that means. And so like from having Nigerian parents to living in all these different places across America, I just had like so much music I felt like I wanted to share, but I didn't know how. And then after like a year and a half, we kind of like figured out. I started like really sharing it with Jordan, and we started sort of like figuring out the format. And we've just been like compiling music into playlists. Like I wish, like on my Apple Music, I shared some playlists, but like if I shared all of my playlists, I don't think there's enough slots. Like the amount of like I have right now, the way my music is organized, like I think I have like maybe 200, 300 playlists, and I know where everything is. Um, and that's just for like the stuff that's sort of like heavy rotation, right? So like I have music that I haven't looked at in a while, and I have playlists from computers that I just like I haven't looked at those playlists. So I just needed a way to like get it out and sort of like build seasons of music where it was like, okay, this stuff will be like old stuff, and so we're going to call this, you know, the archive and blah 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 blah. So we have like all these different ways to put music out. But it started off to just get people at my college listening to different music,
Not trash music.
not trash music exactly. And Tutu Man tried to like act like they weren't getting the music from me, like, and so I just stopped. I really just shut that whole thing down. I stopped like sending people music. I stopped like putting it in people's mailboxes. I stopped really like pushing it on my campus because like people were like,
Yeah, QR code in people's mailboxes, right?
yeah, exactly. The 5 free songs. Um, so I stopped doing that because like people weren't like, it wasn't that I was doing it to get the attention. It was just that like people started acting like they were finding the music, and they were like hiding the fact that they were like using something a student at the school was doing. So like there was a couple times where I had people like literally playing my whole playlist. I'd be like, "Yo, what playlist is this?" Just to see if they would show me my own playlist. But the thing about it is they didn't know it was me. That was the other cool part. It was like I kept it pretty secret. And one dude like literally copied the whole playlist and made it his own and like named it. And I'm just like, dang, bro, you couldn't have just like pressed play and just kept it that way. So I stopped doing it that way and just started putting stuff out here and there. And then I started doing like really, really basic mixes for like the soccer team. And then now Jordan and I do this radio thing, and it's starting to sort of like come together, and we have a really solid direction. And then we also are starting to reformat the way that we're going to start working with different people, doing interviews and stuff like that, different formats for interviews, different formats for radio shows. And then we're still working on the sync license project, the product that we're trying to figure out how we're going to help student filmmakers and independent filmmakers find music, and sort of like figure out a way to sort of like connect artists with filmmakers and try to get people making original music for movies and things like that. So that will come when we have a better determination of like a physical location, which is that's fingers crossed right now. Jordan doesn't even know about that, so if he hears this, he's gonna be like, "Wait, what, bro?" Yeah. So I'm trying to figure out how to get that going. But yeah, it's one of my brain children. It's it's moving right along, coming out with a whole brand redesign, rebranding the whole thing. Been working on the rebrand for a good solid 4 months, maybe 5 now. just trying to make sure that it's good, make sure that we have all the bases covered and it comes out as a real brand. Sometimes you forget about little things like a business card and not just having, basic information, but giving somebody an experience when they get a business card, or, little animations for social media versus animations for the website, things like that. And then doing that sort of like by myself has really taught me about, doing things very dry, not repeating myself here and there, not only in code, but in design and things like that. So it's really good work, to be able to work on my own stuff and learn my process with my own stuff versus working on, a new process with a client's work, because there's some tried and true stuff for the client work, and it goes really well. But I kind of wanted to switch up workflows, so I'm learning a new process with my own work. Like I was saying before, it always kills me. I always want to do something cool for myself, and then other people's work takes over the time. But this time, all my work is going to come out, and it's going to be fantastic. Hopefully, right January, everything's out, and it looks great. And yeah, it'll be exciting. I think it's exciting. Some cool stuff coming.
I can tell it's probably going to be exciting because you look so unexcited because you're tired working on it.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've been off the internet, really. I just like dipped off there, not really tweeting much. The only stuff I tweet out right now, or I've been tweeting out right now, I think has just been music, and I might have like retweeted some stuff.
You sent me a soccer meme.
Which one did I send you?
Let me see. I forget who it was that was dancing. You sent me a random soccer meme.
Oh, I sent you Patrice Evra. Yeah.
You sent him dancing. I was like, that rich fucker has too much spare time on his hands.
Patrice Evra makes my Mondays amazing. Like, crazy. Oh, my last tweet was not the retweet. My last tweet was about this Uber. It was crazy. This man, I'm not even trying to put my man out there, but my Uber driver was like, "Oh, word, your birthday soon? You want a birthday shot?" I was like, "What do you mean?" And he was like, "Here." He passed me this like wild bottle. I don't even remember. I can't remember if it was the Moet Hennessy or something. But I was just like, "Bro, this Uber is a madness." And he's like, "All right, hold on, don't take the shot. Take the shot when the bass drops. Bass drops. He has the LED lights booming, and I take the shot. It was lit. I went crazy. I was like, "Bro, what is going on? This Uber is fantastic."
Your
And
Uber driver gave you a shot at Hennessy?
I swear on everything. On everything. He's so dope for that. I hope I get that Uber.
You better give him 5 stars.
Bro, what do you mean? I smashed the 5 stars. I tipped him like $50, I think, on accident. I meant to do 5, and I think I sent 50. It was so crazy. But I don't know. I haven't actually need to go back and look at that just to see. He probably is like looking for me, like, thanks, bro. But yeah, that Uber drive. Yeah, I've just been off Twitter. Man, I've just been off Twitter, just really focusing on work and occasionally dropping some gems. I'm scrolling through my timeline right now. I put some songs on here that I need to delete. Like, what was I thinking? Sharing this with people.
I'm gonna go look now.
Some people don't deserve some of these songs.
I'm gonna make sure I go look at that now.
Yeah, there's a ton. There's some stuff I've retweeted friends that are making some pretty good music. There's some, I mean, just like random stuff, and that's what I was kind of talking about with NPR. The open format's so important because, like, living in the suburbs, there's a very large mix of people, and that's something that people don't realize. They think that the suburbs are just like people with their noses in the air, a bunch of white people, blah blah blah. But it's really not. Like, I mean, today I went to HEB. It's a grocery store. What was I at HEB or was I at Kroger? Either way, I was at HEB or Kroger looking for like specific spices. Like, I was looking for like these specific like turmeric and this specific cumin, like all this stuff. And I wasn't trying to use like the random brands that are like bottled here in America. I was like trying to find like the fresh from abroad brands. And I went to the I went to the aisle, right? And they were all gone. Everything was completely clear, like empty. And then you see like the regular like American brands all full. So I was thinking in my head like, dang, like I'm in it and in the suburbs, like this place is supposed to be considered like, oh, out where the white people are, but it's like all of the fucking turmeric and cumin is all gone here. And then you go in any other aisle, obviously, like you can go inside like the Caribbean aisle, all the stuff will be gone. You can go inside all the international food is mostly gone because like the people who live there are buying it because like obviously like most immigrants don't live in the inner city. They're trying to make their money and get out to the suburbs, and that's like the dream that they hear about.
Mhm.
And so it's pretty crazy to think about it that way. And I just like think about like this crazy, crazy, crazy like mixture of people I live around. And I just felt like the music, because I'm from this area, or I'm from the suburbs in general, that the music reflect that. So why not have it this wild open format? So you like on any given day, like last week, we went from all the way from what did we start? We went from Gabriel Garcon Montano, who's a fantastic singer, all the way into AJ Tracy, like Secure the Bag. We played Rap Save Me, which is off of that Without Warning from 21 Savage, Offset, and Metro Boomin. Really should say Metro Boomin first. Like, so we went from like a singer songwriter who's making like this like post dub, like very, very soulful, playful music, all the way into like 21 Savage. And so that is a real like spectrum that exists in the suburbs. Like you can find a kid that who comes from like a Hispanic family that's like making music with like an electric guitar, and then you can find a kid who's just like left Fifth Ward and moved to Houston or moved to like the suburbs and is like in the suburban school who can also rap about like seeing people literally die or like having a passion that like saved them from the streets or the like really coming from the gutter. It's kind of crazy. And so being able to like reflect that somehow with music without making the music ourselves is very fulfilling, I think. And I think we're going somewhere with this whole open format thing and being able to provide music on a different scale.
That's something I actually really like about this time period is that um, we are the first to really embrace curation.
Yeah, for sure.
We're the first where like you can actually have a job of like curating like taste, which I think is weird to say the least. I think people probably look at us and say that they probably use this to fuel like the millennials are lazy argument because like we care about shit like being able to express ourselves regardless of the environment, which I think that's bizarre for some reason, just on a behavioral level. I just think it's bizarre.
I I just I think I don't know how to explain this, but I think that people from older generations were so shut off and forced to follow rules so much, especially the way that they were like educated. They had to like follow the bells, get to class on time, everything like that. They didn't have very much freedom. And now that we have all these freedoms and we want control over it, because of technological advances, because of whatever, I think it's starting to make them upset. So they just start blaming us for whatever they can like make sense of. It's just like these really weird, just like millennials are lazy, and it's like, oh, I don't know, are we though?
Oh, I don't think we're lazy. I think it's just like for us to get something that like our like baby boomers got, we have to work like 10 times as hard. So they're probably looking at like what we've attained and they're just like, yeah, well, these fuckers, well, you're 22 or you're 23 and you haven't bought a house yet. So they're like, these fuckers are lazy.
Yeah,
But in reality, it's just like, no, we aren't lazy. It's just like literally everything's fucked over. We just got fucked over. We got a shitty hand.
that's the thing that I've definitely had to argue with my parents about. Um, in terms of quote laziness or when I was your age, I had ball. It's like, okay, but you lived in a different time. Like back then, you wouldn't be in $40,000 of debt because you wanted to go to school, and you didn't have people shoving school down your throat. And you make like a decision at 18 that's going to affect the rest of your life. And it's like before you made the decision, you had to like raise your hand to ask to go to the bathroom. Like, so like,
Yeah, see how fucked up that is. You had to like ask someone to go take a piss, but then like it's completely fine for you to put yourself in tens of thousands of dollars in debt.
yeah, like what? I don't really. I think one outweighs the other a little bit, maybe just like
Uh,
a
I
little bit.
I think that like you shouldn't be able to start like college or university until you're 20. I think you
Yeah,
should have to take 2 years off.
I think you should have to have $5,000 saved in your bank account to go to college. If you can't
Like
do
a down
that,
payment.
yeah, well, not even a down payment, just have money ready. Because, like, man, school is expensive, and unless you have parents, like I'm lucky enough to have a mom in finance, so I like get extra help from her to understand how to like manage money better and pay off the loans in a faster way and like sort of like understand how the loans are working and why it works the way it works. If you don't take any financial accounting or you have no one in your family in finance, you are screwed when you make those decisions. You have no idea how it works. And then you have to read these long-winded explanations filled with legal jargon and make enough sense out of it to understand that, oh, I'm just going into debt. How do I stop it? Well, I can't. This is the only way. Like, you don't get any other option. It's like apply for these loans or don't go to school.
Exactly.
And it's
Like
like, well, everybody's told me my whole life that I need to go to school, so not going to school isn't an option. So I guess I'll take debt. Like, I feel like there has to be a better way to sort of like call it education and at least teach them why they're going into debt, or at least have kids understand the whole purpose of debt, or like the whole way that it's working. Because like I said, if I didn't have my mom, I would be in no man's like I would not understand what was going on with my why I needed the student loans, or like how did I take out like a $10,000 loan, but like now it's 11,000. Like some people, like I guarantee there are people who see that and they're like, no, this is wrong, and they don't understand interest. Like it's
that's
crazy.
that's why I kind of pissed off when people say like, "Oh yeah, Western society, like North America, has the best uh we have the best blueprint for how society should work." But I'm like, there are
It's not
places in
true.
Europe where like you graduate from a 4 year degree and you have zero debt, and there's universal health care.
Yeah, imagine somehow Western world.
I was like, it's possible. Like you could really go to school and graduate with no debt, but it's just we live in a society where it's like people are like, oh, I don't want to pay taxes. I don't want to pay that much tax. I don't want people to benefit off of my money, but at the same time, I want to be able to benefit off of like these fucking like rebates and shit.
This doesn't make sense. It's just a really big clusterfuck of people not really understanding what they want.
Yeah, we're getting pretty deep into this. So I'm gonna ask you the last question, which is basically like we started talking about this before, but what's your 10-year plan?
10 years, huh? So 35.
Yeah, because you were talking about like how you want to be in a position where like you can't shotgun a beer anymore when you have kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Which is like that's a very interesting way to look at it for me because I always thought, oh, I've never shotgunned a beer. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Oh, the first thing that happens if you're ever in Texas, I will literally pull a beer out at the airport in the parking lot and we'll shotgun. Um,
I'm not old enough to drink in the States yet.
Oh no.
In a couple months. In a couple months, it will be.
I think you can with a chaperone. I think that's a Texas thing. I don't remember.
What is this fuckery, man? In Canada, you could drink. In Ontario, you could drink when you're 19.
I was lit. Y'all are out there.
In Quebec, when you're 18, like literally senior year of high school, you can go on lunch, come back, and you're wasted.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, kids in Texas did that, but illegally, obviously. But yeah, that was like I know. I don't know. In 10 years, for sure. In five, I want to have um at least one business sold. There's a few ideas that I've had that have been working for the past like couple years that I'm ready to like offload soon. Like I don't want to have to work on, um, because they're also kind of dead, and I'm not losing money, but I'm not making as much from it as I was before. But in 10, I want to be able to um, be the creative director of Capri Sun.
I know you're being dead ass about
Um,
that too.
as I'm absolutely serious. Yeah, I want to take that brand past the point of like the respect the pouch gimmick. Like we get it, respect the pouch, but like what can we do with Capri Sun moving forward? Um, because it's like you can only respect the pouch so much before you cut the pouch open and there's like that slime stuff inside, right? So I
Mhm.
want to figure out a way to move that brand past the pouch because it's one of the most unique packaging options for beverages on this planet. There's like the whole coconut water thing. Um, and so I want to figure out a way to do um, Capri Sun packaging to a next level. I want to. I have so many ideas for Capri Sun. It's crazy. Also because I really, really enjoy cooking and food and beverage is like something that I think I will end up in. I want to own a restaurant. In 10 years for sure. I want to be a restaurant owner in 10 years. 35, I want to have at least two restaurants. One of them is going to be um, for sure fried food like wings and French fries and stuff like that, just like different combinations. So like just different stuff I've eaten over the years, but over French fries because like everything I've eaten has been sort of like a play on Nigerian food where there's like starch and stew.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to figure out a way to do starch and stew, but like the idea of chili cheese fries, but not with chili, with like something else, like with like I don't know, it could be like curry fries,
That's actually the first thing I was thinking. Curry
like
fries.
just different things like that. And then I have another idea for like this crazy Nigerian fusion French restaurant that I've been like thinking about for a solid 5 years. So I definitely want to have that. And then I want to be married at 35. I want to be married and I want to have a child that can talk by 35.
Geez, do you have a girlfriend now?
Yeah, I do. She's so great. Her name is Maeve. Everybody go follow Maeve Nichols.
Oh
Um,
shit! You're the first guy that's ever like put his girlfriend's like social media on blast on
yeah,
here.
I don't. Okay, let me just go find. I can't remember. Maeve Nichols. I'll if you follow me, I will retweet everything she says. I need
Oh
to send
my.
her like. She says some pretty cool stuff. She's also um like 10 times more intelligent than I am. She's a person that could be in a room. We could be in a room together and we don't say anything. And I already know she's probably had like 50 thoughts. Like I actually have one of her books here.
She wrote a book?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay.
She could, and she
Oh
should.
man.
She really should. I should tell her that. No, she has book. Like she like left this here. Um, and like it'll just be quiet and then all of a sudden I'll start hearing pages flip. And so she like finds time in between like the dead spaces in a conversation or just like in the day to read. And that's how I know she's more intelligent than I am. And it's so attractive. Not the fact that she's reading, but it's just like her intelligence level is very, very attractive. And she just like is zero stress. She's starting to like really, really mean what she says, like, and she doesn't let me just like, because I catch myself, I interrupt people a lot just because like when they say something, I have an idea and I want to say it, but I should like let them finish. But I interrupt people a ton. Um, and she's been, this is just like random, but she's just been like really good about saying like I wasn't done, and but like throwing sarcasm back, because if you haven't noticed, I'm a pretty sarcastic person. Uh, but
I know.
she throws it right back at me. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not saying that like we're gonna get married and we're gonna have kids, but I mean, I don't know. Who knows? I just definitely know that she's so cool, like amazing, amazingly cool, and a lot of fun to be around. We went to school together actually. Um, but yeah, shouts out, Maeve. It's funny. She's great.
So, two restaurants,
Yeah,
creative director Capri Suns.
yeah. Oh, and for sure, I'm gonna hopefully have like my whole agency, my partnerships or whatever. We're all running, smoothly. I think I'm not really keen on putting too many details out there, but I definitely want this whole agency thing to work out because it's something that has been floating around the internet, and you might have seen some of it, and it's ups and downs. Things are changing here and there. Other people have bigger ideas and more things they're passionate about working on. But I'm trying to find a way to bring basically all of my friends in real life and from on the internet into a giant sort of like, we run this shit, like we are the young sort of like design people that you should care about, like obviously like people like Virgil, people like Aesop, all those guys, like they're on top of the world right now. Like they are, the Basquiat's and the Warhols that people are talking about now in terms of like the creative scene, but like who are the next up that they're not necessarily like hand on shoulder, gun fingers blazing about,
Mhm.
but like these are the people who are really, really working, and these are the people who are next up in a way. Like, how do we be those people that are like the next up in terms of like respected and like obviously not just kids, not just like people with Twitter accounts popping off, and like how do we translate that into real life work? So that's definitely somewhere I want to be in 10 years, being able to hand like hand choose people like that to become partners. So like see somebody who's like, okay, they understand social media and they can really, really push their work through social media, but they also want to make it real, right? Because like there's definitely right now a lot of people who are caught up in making their presence on social media too important, right? So like their presence on social media and their reach on social media is super duper high, but that does not translate in real life at all. Like like you can have this popping brand on social media and get all your work through social media, but like in real life, if you don't have any relationships in real life, I feel like that just doesn't, like the whole point of design is to solve a problem, and if you're not solving real life problems, are you designing? Like that's a question that I have and I'm pretty curious about.
I feel like
But
you aren't.
you feel like, yeah, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're not fixing a real life problem, then you're not really designing anything. You're sort of just like feeding this false reality. Like,
I think, have you ever read the Design of Everyday Things by Don Harmon?
no, I haven't.
I think that would be a good book for you to read because it talks about like it's like the Bible for user experience design and basically just like designing like anything. Like he
Whoa,
breaks down like a concept of like literally everything that you would need for like usable design.
wow. Yeah, I'll have to read it for sure. I'm down. I'm
I
always
have a
down.
PDF because I don't buy shit.
Oh, it's real. Yeah, send that my way. There's a way that you can turn PDFs into ebooks for Kindles. So Yeah, you just email it to like your Amazon account or whatever, and it'll convert it to an ebook.
What the
Yeah, just you can look it up if you have a Kindle. Look it up.
fuck?
Plus, it'll be a wild sale on Kindle Fire soon, obviously. So it's definitely worth it. Mine's in here somewhere. I wish there was a way to scan the ISBN number and then you automatically get the ebook on your Kindle though. Like if I have a book, I should be able to have the ebook as well. But
I'm surprised that's not already a thing.
I'm telling you, Jeff Bezos needs to get on it with all that money.
Oh, he's too busy trying to get us to space.
Oh, he's on a space thing now?
He's been had the space thing, but he kept it low key.
I never knew that. I thought he was just like interested in produce.
No, like he has the space. He, like Jeff, don't sleep on Jeff Bezos. Like that
Oh, I'm
man's
not, man. That 90 bill. That's crazy.
yeah. Like he had the space thing since like 2004, but he just kept it like in super stealth mode.
That's wild.
Yeah. So we are running short on time now. This was this for everyone, episode 6, after a very long hiatus. Gideon, if you want to like shout out any social media that you have, anything that you want people to check out from you.
Um, yeah, Gideon Bemeray Jr. on pretty much all social media. If you want to follow stupid tweets, funny tweets, usually retweets from my best friend Jordan or tweets from friends and their music. Uh, and then at Music Pouch. And then you can check out any of the links in any of my bios on anything, honestly. And then yeah, follow my girlfriend. Her name's Maeve Nichols. And this is for everyone. Always make sure you go follow that.
Yeah, this for everyone. By myself until I die. I put that in a drunk Instagram post one time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so don't hang up yet. I'm gonna, yeah, bye people.